Daily Broadside, day 415. I got a question. Who the hell pays for archaeology? You know? Like, you got all these people, and they're out wherever dinosaurs were. You know, they're out in the Kalahari Desert or whatever, the Gobi Desert. And they're just sitting there crouched over, and they got everything kind of cordoned off with rope and everything. So it's like a grid pattern. They know where. And you got some dude that's over in G8, he's got like a paintbrush and a dental pick, and you know, after about 9 months, he's like, Eureka! I found a brontosaurus knuckle or something. I mean, what? Who's paying for all those man hours and all that time and all the bottled water? Because good Lord, that's got to be a hot job. Plus, you've been over all day long. You're on your knees. Knee pads or not, that's just not. That doesn't look like that'd be a comfortable job at all. But where's the money in it, right? I mean, even if you pull out like an entire Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton completely intact and everything, which I don't understand. Maybe I don't understand how things fossilize. That's probably a problem. But you think that stuff would just degrade before it would fossilize. But at any rate, you got this Tyrannosaurus Rex, you know, complete skeleton, and you sell it to the Smithsonian or something. Like, how much are you really getting for that? And you got to disperse that over the 11 months it took you to unearth this thing, and the 47 people that you had to pay to dental pick their way to freedom. I don't understand where the money's at. Is it all donated? Is it some conservatory that, like, I don't get it. But anyway, that just seems like a job that would not be very rewarding. You know, I mean, think about it, at the end of like 30 or 40 years, you know, you've been a lifetime archaeologist, man. What did you do? He's like, I found a brontosaurus knuckle one time. And you're like, what? That's all you did in 30 years? Like, it was a big knuckle. Okay, but like, that's all you did? Like, look, man, I don't think you understand how important it is to unearth a brontosaurus knuckle. Do you know how rare those are? On the entire face of the earth, one little knuckle compared to... Shut up, man. Stop talking to me. And that's when you would start hating archaeologists, because they just apparently think that they're more important than they are, because they're not. Like, a brontosaurus knuckle over 30 years is not a lot of work, you know. I was going somewhere last night and I heard on the radio, it was a commercial from, I can't remember what, but they were trying to get people to support, you know, not getting rid of AM radio. And I thought to myself, I looked at my dash, I'm like, yeah, I still got AM radio, still works. And I'm like, who's listening to this? Happy time gospel hour, bluegrass, old-timey music. Like, who really listens to AM radio? I know, oh, it's as a public address system, if the world goes to hell, it can all broadcast and all. I'm like, well, wouldn't you have to switch over to it? Like, it's not going to bleed over into FM. You know, maybe if they made AM radio not sound like, you know, a pilot talking on a plane, just, you know, and people could actually discern what they were listening to, maybe people would be a little bit more apt to listen to it, you know? My understanding, and I think it stands for amplified modulation or amplitude modulation, something. I don't remember what it stands for. Anyway, you know, I understand that it goes out further, and that has something to do with the fact that the quality of the sound, like the hertz that it spits itself out at, isn't the same as FM and all. And they use it because, you know, for like talk radio, you don't need as much, you know, clarity and hertz as you do for FM to play a song or whatever. But everything I've ever heard on AM radio just sounds like a bag of ass, you know, so I don't understand why anybody would want to do that. And I had was talking to a friend the other day, and I made the statement, I was going to tell a story, and I made the statement, when I was playing travel soccer, we went over and played at the School for the Blind, you know, in a nearby city, and he interrupted me. He's like, man, I bet y'all whooped their ass. And I was like, you didn't let me finish. We didn't play the blind. We just used their facilities one weekend for a little mini tournament and all. But I gotta say, we would have whooped their ass, you know. And I was listening to a commercial the other day, and it said the Chevy Malibu, J.D. Power and Associates, #1 in initial quality. And I had to look up what the hell that even means. I've heard of J.D. Power and Associates forever. You know, they're a big deal. They rank all kinds of consumer things and whatnot. But I was like, what does that mean? Does that mean that like right off the showroom floor, like that's a badass car. That Malibu is just constructed the best of any car on planet Earth, which I find it hard to believe. Like, you would have to give me a lobotomy to get me to buy something as boring as a Chevy Malibu. I don't care what year it is. It go back to the 60s. I don't want a Malibu. I don't even like that word. All right, Malibu. What a dumb name for a town. But here's the bigger thing, right? I don't want a car that's great in initial quality, okay? I want a car that's gonna last, and 2 years later, I'm still like, this was a good purchase. Not, man, that initial quality sure as hell wore off fast, because this is a pile of goose shit right now that I'm driving around in. Just everything rattling and falling apart and all that. Number one in initial quality. They should rank like men and women like that. You know, you're like, yeah, I started dating her. She was number one in initial quality, but God, she went crazy fast. And I had to move. Like, I had to change my address. The bitch was crazy. But initial quality, she was quite fine. Giddy up.